What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. For this camera comparison we have the brand new iPhone 13 and of course the iPhone 12. So in this video we are gonna find out if the cameras on the back of the 13 are in fact better than the cameras that we have on the 12, because according to Apple these cameras are new. So as always we are gonna see a variety of daytime and nighttime sample pictures and videos, and just before we start make sure to press that like button and let's begin by checking out some portrait mode pictures. Alright, so looking at the portrait mode pictures that I took, well, not a massive difference, however there is one difference in there. So if you look at my face and Laura's face, you're gonna notice that all the pictures taken by the iPhone 13 have our faces a bit brighter. So I feel that the iPhone 13 does better for portrait mode pictures than the iPhone 12. As I said, not a massive difference, but a difference that I've definitely noticed. So for portrait mode pictures, yes, the iPhone 13 does better. I also forgot to mention that with the iPhone 13 we actually get color profiles now, so you can select a color profile for your pictures, and all the pictures that you're gonna see throughout this video were taken on the standard mode color profile basically, so keep that in mind. Okay, next we are moving on to some pictures that I took with the ultra wide lenses on the back of the two devices. Okay, so for those ultra-wide pictures, not a massive difference, however, there is a difference that I've noticed. So first of all, the colors aren't as vibrant now with the iPhone 13, and if you look at the sky in those pictures where the sky was kind of gray, well, now the sky actually looks gray from the pictures taken by the 13, where in the pictures taken by the iPhone 12, the sky kind of looks gray towards blue. So the true color of the sky shows up in the pictures taken by the iPhone 13. So another improvement for the ultra-wide camera, I'm gonna say. Moving on to some 5x zoom pictures, well, keep in mind that neither device has a telephoto lens, so the 5x zoom is digital zoom. Here I can't really tell that one is better than the other one. So for 5x zoom pictures, I think they're kind of the same and not much has changed. Next we are moving on to pictures that I took with the main cameras, and once again all the pictures were taken on auto mode and about a second apart from each other. Here we don't have a massive difference, however there are some small differences that I've noticed. So most pictures taken by the iPhone 13 seem to be a bit sharper, just a tiny bit sharper. You can notice that in the pictures where there is text somewhere. So the pictures from the iPhone 13 are a bit sharper. For dynamic range I couldn't really tell the difference, and I've also noticed that the colors are also a bit toned down in some of those pictures taken by the iPhone 13. So not a massive difference, but very small improvements that could come in handy, and personally I do like those small improvements that we've seen for the cameras on the 13. I'm gonna let you guys watch a few more pictures and I'll be right back. Next we're gonna move on and check out some nighttime pictures, and for all the nighttime pictures that you are seeing I use the night modes on both devices, so for the main camera and of course for the ultra wide camera. The first pictures that you're seeing on your screen are pictures that I took with the main cameras on the back of the 13 and the 12. Honestly, the only difference I've noticed here was when taking pictures. So whenever you're taking pictures with the night mode, the iPhone 13 does take those pictures faster. So it takes like a second, where with the iPhone 12 it takes like 2 or 3 seconds. So it is faster to take pictures with the iPhone 13. Now, there aren't that many differences for those nighttime pictures. I mean, the colors in some of those pictures taken by the iPhone 13 aren't as saturated, and they aren't as warm as some of the pictures that we have from the iPhone 12. But overall, not a massive difference for those nighttime pictures taken with the main camera on the back of the two devices. And the same kind of goes for the pictures that I took with the ultra-wide cameras and of course the night mode. Now, a couple of pictures taken by the iPhone 13 do look a bit sharper, and they aren't as vibrant and as yellow as we've seen from the iPhone 12. But once again, not a big difference. I was actually expecting to see a bigger difference for the nighttime pictures in between these two devices, but I guess we've seen more differences for those daytime pictures than we've seen for nighttime pictures. So yeah, these are pictures that I took at night with the 12 and 13 using night mode. Next we are gonna move on and check out some sample recordings that I've done with the 13 and the 12. Now with the 13 we have a new video mode, but it's kind of hard to actually show you how that works in a comparison when the 12 cannot do that. So I haven't really noticed that big of a difference for video recordings. I mean, the iPhone 12 was already good at video recordings, probably the best device for video recordings. So not that big of a difference, at least that I've seen. So I'll let you guys watch those daytime and nighttime recordings, and definitely leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Did you see any differences between the 13 and the 12? So leave a comment and let us know. So I'll be back after those video recordings. Okay, next we have a quick recording with the front-facing cameras on the iPhone 12 and of course on the iPhone 13. So the front-facing cameras, both devices can do 4K at 60 frames per second, but for this recording we are only doing 4K at 30 frames per second. I'm also gonna walk so you can see how the image stabilization works on the front-facing camera. I'm gonna run for a bit. And I also want to talk a bit because, as I said in an earlier recording, the internal microphone on the iPhone 12 hasn't been that great. So I'm hoping that with the iPhone 13 that internal microphone has improved. Of course, I'm gonna have to see how this footage actually looks on the computer. It's also pretty windy out today, so you're probably gonna hear a lot of wind aside from my voice and some traffic and of course some water behind me. So yeah, this whole recording done with the front-facing camera on the iPhone 12 and on the iPhone 13 would look like. Okay, we have our first video test between the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 13. For this recording, I'm using the main cameras on the back of the two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. Today it's also a pretty windy day, so you're probably gonna hear a lot of wind aside from my voice. Now I want to see if the internal microphone on the iPhone 13 has improved compared to the one on the iPhone 12. The microphone on the iPhone 12 hasn't been the greatest in my opinion. So I'm gonna walk a bit faster just so you can see how the image stabilization works on both devices. Here you're gonna hear some water as well aside from my voice and the wind. We'll pan left slowly and we'll walk this way. I'm also gonna run for a bit just so you can see how that image stabilization does. So yeah, this is how a recording done with the main camera on the iPhone 12 and on the iPhone 13 would look like. For our next recording between the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 13, I am using the ultra-wide lenses on the back of the two devices and once again recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. It is windy, so keep that in mind. You're gonna hear a lot of wind aside from my voice. I'm gonna walk this way. I wanna show you how the image stabilization works on both devices. And now the wind is picking up a bit, so you're probably gonna hear some more wind aside from my voice. We're also gonna run this way. And I guess we're gonna stop here. We're gonna pan right. And back left. So yeah, this is how recording done between the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 13 would look like if you are using the ultra-wide lenses on their backs. Okay, and I have another quick recording between the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 13. So for this recording, I'm using the main camera and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. But what I'm gonna do is change the lenses while we are filming. So first I'm gonna change the lens to ultra-wide on the 13 and now on the 12, just so you can see how that change up looks like if you're filming something, of course. We'll walk this way. So now we have 4K at 30 frames per second with that ultra-wide lens. So yeah, iPhone 12 and iPhone 13. Alright, we are moving on to a quick recording in low light between the iPhone 12 and of course the iPhone 13. For this recording I'm using the main cameras on the back of the two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. So I'm looking on the screens here and yes, it does seem like the iPhone 13 has a somewhat brighter image. Not a massive difference, but a bit of a difference. But again, I'm gonna have to see how this footage actually looks on the computer. Okay, so I'm gonna stop somewhere around here. We're gonna pan left slowly. And I guess I'm gonna walk straight. It gets pretty dark around here. I wanna make it to the other side of the street. Almost there. Okay, so now it should be a bit better because it is brighter around here. So I'm gonna pan right, and I guess we're gonna walk this way for a bit. So yeah, this is how recording with the main cameras on the back of the iPhone 12 and the back of the iPhone 13, recording in 4K at 30 frames per second would look like. For our next recording, we are using the ultra-wide lenses on the back of the iPhone 12 and of course the iPhone 13, and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second once again. I can't really see that big of a difference here for low-light recordings, so whenever you're using those ultra-wide cameras on the back. I guess we are gonna cross the street once again. We'll go towards the darkness. We'll see how the ultra-wide lenses do in the dark here. So I think I can see a bit more on the screen of the iPhone 13, but again, we have to see this footage on the computer. So yeah, this is how a recording would look like if you're using the ultra-wide lenses on the back of these two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. So what do you guys think about those sample recordings? Have you noticed any differences between the 12 and the 13? Personally, I haven't, but if you have, that's great for sure. Next, we're gonna move on and check out some selfies. Well, for selfies, it almost looks like the iPhone 13 does a bit better, mostly because my face is slightly brighter, just a tiny bit brighter. So I'm gonna say that for selfies, the 13 also does better than the iPhone 12, just a tiny bit better. So there you have it. I feel that the iPhone 13 does have some improvements over the iPhone 12, more than we've seen from the iPhone 11 to the iPhone 12, because last year there wasn't that big of a difference. But now the iPhone 13, yes, I did notice some difference, mostly for those daytime pictures. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, don't forget to press that like button, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.